What's up guys? Today we're here with another one of my monthly reviews where I go through everything that happened in the last month of MCOC to give it an overall rating. So at the end of the year, we can go through and kind of compare months and figure out what the things we liked were, what the things we didn't like were, to provide some sort of source for comparison. So this video is about everything that happened in the month of June. And June was a big month. A lot happened in June. We had some new champions, we had some buffed champions, we had Stellaforge Blade become available, we had the new Towers game mode into the game. There was a whole lot of stuff happening. So I wanted to go through everything kind of piece by piece, talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and kind of see what you guys think about it as well. And as a reminder, if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Only like 10% of people that watch my videos actually are subscribed. So if you want to do that, it's free. You can always take the subscription back, but it really does help me out and it lets me know you're enjoying these videos. But anywho, let's get into first the champions that came out in the month of June. So whilst 2 new champions got released, as it is every month, there were also a few other champions that sort of became available or also got buffed in the game. So first of all, for the 2 new champions that came out, we had a Cosmic champion and we had a Mutant champion. The Cosmic champion that came out was the new auto block counter, Vel. She comes in as a pretty solid auto block counter, so she's good against other champions other than Ruby Thursday, but her kit pretty much primarily revolves around Ruby Thursday. But outside of that, she's kind of been a bit of a miss. You know, Cosmic champions have a really good reputation. There's lots of good Cosmic champions. Honestly, too many good Cosmic champions, so I'm not too upset when one misses here and there. But outside of the auto block counter, Vel doesn't have a whole lot going for her. She's got solid damage in certain situations, but the ramp is kind of weird, and it's a very specific playstyle that if you kind of mess up the ramp, you just have lost all of this time. So for battlegrounds, for towers, I don't think she's going to be a solid option, but I guess for the very niche matchups of like an auto block counter, she's cool, she's whatever. But I would still say that Vox is going to be a better counter for those sorts of fights than Vel would be. I'm keen to see more content about her though. I know that she's still a very new champion. Obviously no one has her unless they got her from the featured crystals. So maybe once she enters the Titan pool, we'll see some more good stuff from her and see some other options and matchups for her as well. The other champion though that entered the contest is a Mutant champion, and I have actually been very impressed with this champion, and that is Shatterstar. So Shatterstar's got a really simple ramp up. It basically relies on just interrupting the defender's heavy attacks. If you're not familiar with interrupting heavy attacks, that also counts if you punish the heavy attack. So right at the end of their heavy animation, if you attack, that will count as interrupting it. Shatterstar basically ramps up damage really easily with that. So when you're ramping up the damage, you get up to your special attacks and you're dealing a ton of bleed damage. It's a really straightforward and kind of safe option. I think Shatterstar is going to be a really solid champion for towers as well. I don't know how many people have gotten him at the moment because obviously he's a very new champion as well, not in the Titan pool, only from feature crystals at the moment. But Shatterstar I think really is going to go well in those fights where the defender doesn't have a special 3 and you're able to just get them against the wall, because he's also got all this glancing ability where he takes a lot less block damage than other champions. So if you're able to get against the wall, hold block, punish their heavy attacks and get into that cycle, I think he's going to be really good for towers, because that's really all towers is getting the defender against the wall, holding your block to get them to throw their heavy attack for you to have an opening and just churning through damage. And Shatterstar does also deal a lot of damage. The bleed damage is great on him. The basic attacks are pretty solid once you're ramped up as well. So I think he's actually going to be a really solid option, and I'm keen to see when he enters the Titan pool because I 100% want a 7-star Shatterstar. That would be great. Very eager for him. Definitely a lot more eager for him over Vel. And now there were sort of 3 other champions that were relevant within the month of June. I guess the first one is that it became possible to be able to acquire the America Chavez Ascension. So if you're not familiar, there was the America Chavez chase where you're collecting her little icons, the little figurines, and you were able to get America Chavez to Ascension 1. Now you can get America Chavez to Ascension 2 as well if you end up spending money, because you need an extra 100 of the figurines. I'm not going to be doing that, but it does mean it's possible. And the Ascension for America Chavez is really solid. She's been a great help in towers as well, and with the Ascension that just bumps up the challenge rating. America Chavez is already a really popular champion and a really good champion. She's quite well renowned, I guess, because she was in the basic pool of champions when 7 stars first got released, but the Ascension is just a bit of a bump up for her. I already did a video on America Chavez at Ascension as well, so if you want to see that video, go check that out. That's on the channel too. And then the same sort of topic, there is another champion that sort of became attainable as well, and that is the 7-star Thor Ragnarok. So if you keep up with your Twitch drops, if you get all the observance from Twitch drops and watch your live streams when you need to and collect those rewards, then you're going to be getting this observance. I've currently not got quite enough. I've missed a couple of live streams here and there and missed some rewards here and there throughout the last few months, but I should be able to pick up enough observance or buy some in the next few days to be able to pick up this first appearance one, because that's kind of a flex. But Thor Ragnarok, along with that release of being able to get him with observance, also came with a bit of a buff, and he's definitely okay. I wouldn't say he's anything to write home about. I think he was a pretty bad champion at the start, and he's come up to be an okay champion. I don't think his buff is anything revolutionary. His damage is definitely better. His utility is definitely better, but I don't think it is game breaking or anything, especially for a Thor character. It would be nice to have a really, really good Thor, because I feel like we just don't have one right now. Thor Jane Foster's okay at the moment, but you know, Thor, he's the god of thunder. We want to see a good version of him. So this one, unfortunately, did not deliver. Would love to see some sort of Stormbreaker Thor. That would be sick. But at least this is a bit of a buff. And this guy, I guess, is better than he was before. And he's now available as a 7-star. And you can also get him ascended from the Observance. But I don't think it's anything significant for his buff. It's at least something that happened in June anyway. And the last thing that became available for people that were doing the Blade Stellaforged chase was Blade Stellaforged. So Blade is now available as well as the champion, but also if you did it at the time, you could get the Ascension for him as well. So now he's ascended for me also at Ascension level 1 and Sig 20. And I've taken him up to rank 4 as well for towers. If you didn't see my big rank up video, I took him up in that. Go check that video out if you want to see some other recommendations for towers champions too. But Blade Stellaforged, I definitely slept on him a bit at the start. I still don't think he's incredible. I just don't think he fills much of a gap in the game that other Mystic champions weren't already dealing with. And I don't think he really took over the spotlight of any other champions that were taking specific fights that he can now replace them. I just think he's sort of a decent damage burst champion. He's able to do some pretty good damage. He's got degeneration as well now, which means that it's more versatile than his bleed debuffs that he had previously. And with the Ascension, he's coming in at an already high rank. You know, you can already deal a bit of damage without investing too many resources into Blade. So pretty solid for that. I know a lot of people didn't want to do the Battleground season for that last Blade piece as well. You may not even have him yet if you didn't want to invest those units yet, but I think overall he's still worth getting, and you're going to have to get him if you want to get that Doom at the end of the year, because you got to collect all of the Stellaforged champions to be able to get that Stellaforged Doom. If Blade isn't worth the 2,500, getting him to be able to get Doom is likely going to be worth it as well. Now, in the context of Champions 2, we also have started chasing the Green Goblin Stellaforged. So we've been able to pick up this first piece, the Goblin Smile from the Saga Showcase Tower, which happened as well. And we've got more pieces coming out soon within this month, but I'll talk about that in the July video. Now, event quest for the month was basically the exact same as the other months. Nothing really changed. The rewards didn't really change. We're just kind of benefiting now of having the Elder rewards for the difficulty tuning as well. So that's been kind of nice having these bumper rewards, because you do get a ton of like tier 7 basic, and you also get a bunch of tier 5 alpha now as well, which is really good for Elder. So nothing really to write home about there though, because nothing really changed or improved. The other thing that happened was around the side event quest, I was a bit pissed. So there's one thing in this game that I absolutely cannot stand, and that is putting events behind a paywall. This Stars and Martyrs event is basically your side event for the month. You just do fights through the event quest. You're going to be gaining your points in this event for that, and then you'll be able to, if you want to, get all these rewards. But this event, for little piddly bits of Mysterium, some empowered crystals, very few amount of fragments, is 23 Australian dollars. I think that's like 15 US dollars or something like that. That's crazy. Like, for such low rewards that you also have to participate in an event for, I absolutely hate that. Offers and you buy things, fair enough. Put it behind a paywall, make it expensive, I don't care. The player can then decide if they want to buy that or not. But putting stuff behind a paywall and then also making you work for it sucks. I hate when they do that so much. And they did it not only once this month, but twice. They also did it in relation to the Incursions event. So for the Incursions, they did this new Pump It Up Incursions, which overall was really solid. The rewards were pretty good. You got a bunch of the America Chavez action figures if you were still needing pieces for her. You got a bunch of empowered crystals. You got a bunch of like rank up gems and sig stones and catalyst fragments, and the regular like 7-star shards and Titan shards. Cool, great. Don't mind having a new Incursions. But alongside the Incursions, they put in yet another pay-to-win event that you still had to participate in. I don't understand this. I hate when they do this. Putting an event in is one thing. You can work through the event, you can use your time to be able to push through that, and if you spend your time on that event, you get bonus rewards. That's how every other event works. But then using that to be able to then make more money from it and still needing the players to spend their time going through the event, like spending the money isn't an immediate reward. You still have the time consuming aspect of it. That puts a sour taste in my mouth. And especially because I'm someone who is trying to make the absolute most of the things that's in the game right now, like towers or battlegrounds. Even though I hate battlegrounds now, I still push through the victory track because I know the rewards at the end are worth it, kind of. There's at least other people who can't be bothered doing battlegrounds who I'm then overtaking by getting those extra extra bit of rewards. And so I'm someone who tries to max out as much of the game as possible, get the most amount of rewards that I can from the events that they release. I do every event quest, I do every side event, I do every Battlegrounds victory track, I do every tower to the most of my ability, and I can't justify doing that when they're behind a paywall. But I tell you what, if this event was free, I would 100% grind more to get through this stuff. I'm someone who will happily put time into the game. I enjoy playing the game, but I don't want to spend money on things that are just piddly bits. Those piddly bits, I'll happily take if they're free and I can spend an hour doing it rather than 23 bucks. I just can't stand it. Never do this again, Kabam, please. I know they're going to do it again because I'm sure people spent money on this and bought it without really realizing how poor a value it is, but please do not do this. Make the event longer, make me have to spend more time in it. Whatever you do there, cool. Like, encourage players to play the game. That really annoyed me. Anywho, rant over. The other thing that happened in the month is we had some objectives around Pride Month, where you had to play with specific champions who are associated with the Pride Month events. And that's like Nico Minoru and Carolina Dean and Hulkling and Wiccan. There's a bunch of other champions that have come out during Pride Months. I guess LGBTQIA plus identifying characters in Marvel. And so all that event was basically just complete fights with those champions throughout the month. You also got like 10,000 Titan Shards worth of stuff, which is pretty solid as well. Alongside a bunch of other things, a bunch of other little rewards and stuff you got too. So overall, I think that was pretty solid for a side event. Now there's a couple of other smaller things I want to have a bit of a chat about before we move on to Towers, because Towers is the kind of big thing that released this month. For the Battleground season, it was fairly straightforward. I don't think the nodes were anything too crazy. To get through the victory track, it was basically just like a Mixmaster style play, where if you use the same type of basic attack twice in a row, you would gain a weakness effect. The weakness effect didn't last too long. It wouldn't impact you too much if your champions relied on using multiple of the same attack, like ramping up like a stealth suit Spider-Man, for example, where you want to kind of do a lot of light attacks to end your combo. You were able to kind of ramp the champions and then wait for those weaknesses to drop off before dealing your damage. So overall, I didn't think it was too bad. I think Battlegrounds, I'm just kind of done with Battlegrounds now. I just don't really enjoy it. They need some kind of significant change to make it relevant again, or at least like a huge bump in the rewards to make it worth the time invested, because even to get through the victory track now, it is a big pain. Overall, I don't think this season was too offensive. I think nodes were okay. There were lots of options to be able to play around. They didn't really cut out a lot of champions from the pool of champions you could really play and be successful with. So I think overall it was pretty okay. Now, the other thing that happened with alliance-based stuff is we had the Alliance Coliseum, and that was the big old Juggernaut fight. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a bit, you'll see that I did some content about the Juggernaut fight. Sim Supreme was like designed for this fight. I don't think Kabam really considered Sim Supreme when they put this fight out, because I definitely think they would not have allowed this fight to go out if they realized how broken Sim Supreme was against it. Now for this run, I actually think that I got the world record for the amount of bars cleared against Juggernaut. I have seen a lot of other runs online. I haven't seen any ones that beat mine. If you want to see my run, see what I did, go check that out. That's on the channel as well. But overall, I had a lot of fun with that because I had the Sim Supreme ranked up to rank 4. I've got maxed out Mystic Dispersion. I've got the Scarlet Witch Relic. I was able to have a lot of fun with this fight and just kind of see how far I could push it, because it was a wacky, cracked kind of playstyle with this fight. It was definitely not designed to be this way. I don't think Kabam ever wanted it to be that easy if you had a Sim Supreme to clear out the amount of rewards you needed. But overall, for the people that did have that situation, it was kind of fun. But the rewards for this one actually also did get a bump up with the Elder progression as well. You're actually getting a bunch more of the Catalyst fragments. You got a huge bump up in the rewards. I think it was like went from 4 to 6 different packages, but now you also didn't have to pick between tier 7 basic and tier 4 alpha. You just got both of them as well. And then you also got a bunch of 7-star shards and a bunch of Titan shards, as well as all of your alliance event stuff, depending on how far your alliance pushed through that. So I had a lot of fun with that. I think it was good. I don't think other Coliseums should be this broken, but for the one that was released, I think it was a lot of fun. Now, another big game change that happened was the Mysterium store got a buff. And that buff, especially if you are Elder progression, is kind of nuts. So what they did basically is they kept the rewards largely the same for the actual purchase prices, but they made it so you don't have any cap in purchasing stuff for Elder progression. And that includes tier 6 basic fragments. If I had the Mysterium for it, I could pick up literally endless tier 6 basic fragments right now. There is no limit to how much you can get. You're only limited by the amount of Mysterium income you have. So being able to have some sort of higher up Catalyst progressions based stuff in the Mysterium store is really, really good. And it has also allowed me to max out a bunch more champions. I'm currently working through maxing out all of my 5-star champions. I've been able to get them all to max Sig because of these signature stones in the store now being at an unlimited quantity as well. I think it's a really good perk, and overall it has made this store a lot more valuable. The only thing that I will say is outside of Towers, there was a big lack of Mysterium income this month. Towers was a huge amount of Mysterium, but Towers is also a permanent game mode, so it's not like it was specifically a June reward for that Mysterium. That was a separate thing. I'm treating that separately. Outside of the Towers Mysterium, there wasn't a whole lot you could get. And another thing that they did, which I also found annoying, was the Mysterium that you would typically get from like objectives throughout the month, they put behind a paywall. There was this other Champions event, which is basically like a little side quest to be able to earn these champion tokens, open these crystals, get more tokens, and then get some more rewards. And under that event, they had a couple of offers. And one of the offers basically had the Mysterium that you would expect to get throughout like the side events and stuff, but they put it behind a paywall. And as much as I know there's a lot of Mysterium that happened in the month because of the Towers game mode, the Mysterium should have been free. Mysterium is a low level currency. Like if you made an offer and you put loyalty in there, who is buying that? No one is buying that. The whales, I don't even think are buying that, because the whales, rather than saving up the Mysterium, they would just buy the catalysts. I don't know why they would put it behind a paywall. That really annoyed me as well. Obviously, I didn't pick any of those up because it was pretty terrible value. As much as I want to max out champions, that kind of sucked as well for an offer. This was kind of the month of taking things that we would normally be able to play for free and putting a price on it, which I really don't like, as I've already ranted about in this video, but that was the other thing that kind of irked me about this month as well. Another little fun side thing, they also released this calendar around Spider-Verse heroes. It was kind of a nothing calendar. It was just some 6-star champions and some Empower Grace crystals. Don't really know what it was to celebrate because there's not a whole lot happening with Spider-Verse champions until July in this month where we are now. And I guess with the new Spider-Man and stuff coming out, maybe they're trying to promote it there and hype up a bit of Spider-Verse hero stuff there. But it was all 6-star champions. You got a 7-star Nexus crystal, which was kind of nice. It's something free at least. You just get it for logging in. So bit of a bonus, I guess. Now, obviously the other thing that came out that I've already mentioned in this video is Towers. So Towers is a new permanent game mode where you're basically trying to get through these blocks of fights. So each block of fights has a certain amount of fights you've got to get through, and you are limited by your challenge rating. So the challenge rating is basically the score that is associated with your champion depending on your rank and your ascension level. So really what you want is high ranked champions that are also ascended to be able to push way further in this game mode. Now this is obviously permanent content, but it's also tied to a leaderboard, and that leaderboard has monthly rewards. So right now, this Tower Rankings leaderboard, the top spot of every month gets 300,000 radiance, which is a massive amount of radiance. At the moment, I am not quite on the leaderboard, but I'm currently 260th in the world, and I'm going to be making another push in the next week or so, because I know that I'll be able to get up to block 91 in both Science and Mystic too. And Towers as a new permanent game mode, I have really been enjoying. I know it is a grindy game mode at the beginning, but it's only grindy because you're trying to get through all of the blocks at the start. This, because it's permanent, I might not have another option to be able to get through these 2 fights for months. I might have to wait until I get new champions. I'll have to rank up those champions. I'll have to try to get them ascended. And then after all of that, I can get in, get these last couple of fights, and then be able to move on to the next block. For the initial release of Towers, yeah, it's a grind fest. You've got to get through all of these blocks, push as far as you can, try to rank up champions to be able to get some good options for those fights. But once you've kind of gone through that initial grind, you're kind of just doing rank ups here and there to get through 1 or 2 fights at a time. So after this month, I don't think it's going to be as grindy. Obviously, there's going to be other side events. There's going to be challenge towers and stuff that come out that are kind of bonus rewards on the side that you try to push through and rank up champions for as well. But the grind at the start is not going to be forever. And the important thing is that it sets the premise that this basically has like a passive income in MCOC. So right now, I'm at rank 260. When this event ends, if I was still at 260, the next one would also start with me at 260 because it's based on your tower ranking. And I think this premise of like a passive income in MCOC is so good. It is going to be great for rewards. It's going to really motivate me to rank up those niche champions and chase those ascensions. And I just have a lot of fun with it. I think it's great being able to push as far as I can. Being able to get into the top leaderboard, I think is going to be a huge flex. I need to get into this top 200 because I want you guys to be able to scroll down this list and see Seth there sitting proud, because that would be absolutely sick. But anywho, that's Towers. The Challenge Tower also came out this month, which was pretty okay. The rewards were decent. It was pretty restrictive in the champions you could bring in. So I know a lot of people had a lot of trouble with it because there was a very limited pool of champions, especially for block 1 that you could bring in. So it was a bit of a bottleneck there. I'm keen to see what Challenge Towers happen next. I know there's another one coming out in July, so we'll do some content on that when it comes out as well. Now, the last big thing that kind of happened in the month of June is the Sizzling Summer Sale event. Now, this was a July 4th offer. This sale actually wasn't really catered as a July 4th sale anymore. It was was more so this summer sale, and it was definitely okay. The value, especially for rank 5 champions, if you were to max out the whole event, was massive. I think people were getting like 10 new rank 5 champions based off of the spend in this event, which compared to other events that people spend in is a ridiculous amount of rewards. Like that's a huge amount. People are going from like 5 rank 5s to like 15, 20 rank 5s. That's kind of nuts. And overall, I think the value was decent. I think the free-to-play potential of this event was okay. The bundles were definitely expensive, but I think there was a lot of bundles that people would be able to pick up if they were just lacking in resources and didn't want to go through the full sale and stuff. You're able to actually pick up like specific tiers multiple times. So say if your account, you had, 2,000 units to spend and you really needed tier 7 basic, you could pick this offer up a couple of times. You didn't have to go through the full kind of offer tiers as well. You could stick to the offers that you could afford. You could spend free to play in it. And overall, I think the value was pretty solid. This event also introduced the Ascension of Spider-Ham, which has been really good as well. For Towers too, he's been a big help, especially with that Ascension with the challenge rating bump up. That's been really good. The other thing that came out, which was a very big deal, was 7-star Archangel. Archangel is a champion that I think a lot of people did not expect to see as a 7-star anytime soon. I was able to pick him up. I haven't ranked him up yet. I'll probably do a video about Archangel specifically at some point too, because this guy is cracked. If you've been playing the game for a long time, people used to get through so much content with even like 4 or 5-star Archangels, because he really just shuts down any fight that can be poisoned and bled. I'm keen to see what he can do in Towers and Battlegrounds and Alliance War, sort of those competitive game modes. So definitely worth the rank up for him. Definitely worth the spend for him, I would say. I know a lot of people would happily have spent even more money for Archangel. You were able to get him at an okay point in the spend event. It wasn't as crazy as like past spend events were. You could go absolutely nuts and spend $1,000 on a rank 5 version of him, but you were able to pick up the regular version at an all right price if you are a spender. And for that reason, I think the event was solid. I don't think it was the best event we've seen. I don't think it was the cheapest event or the best free-to-play event we've seen. But overall, for spend value, for free-to-play value, for specific champions that people really, really want to see, and for resources that are relevant in the further progressions of the game, I think it was a pretty good event for that reason. So, taking all of this into account, taking into account the champions that came out, the events that came out, the event quest, the battlegrounds, the towers, the sales, incursions, those bloody cheeky little spend offers that they brought out for the side event as well, I think I'm sitting overall at a B+ for this month. Last month in May, I gave it a B overall. I think there were good things in May, and I think June is better. I think there was more stuff happening. Towers was a huge addition and a big reason for that. And obviously Towers we can't solely attribute to June because it is permanent content, but I think overall a B+ is a pretty good score for it. I don't think it's quite getting into A. It's not getting up to S because of the debacles that happened with the spend events, and also there was some controversy around the sizzling summer sale about people not getting specific rewards or people able to buy specific rewards for way less than they should have been. So I think for those reasons, it wasn't able to get up to like A tier or S tier, but I think a B+ is a pretty solid spot. Now these scores are obviously subject to change. We might get to the end of the year and we find that every other month after this is worse. And then I'm gonna shuffle around the tiers and see what we're looking like at the end of the year and be able to kind of compare what happened this year as well. But I think B+ is a pretty solid score. I think this was a really good month. The amount of rewards you're able to get from this month, especially if you're pushing far in towers, was huge. I have made massive gains on the account this last month. If you look onto my account, I've got mass rank ups for like the June and July as well. I've made so many rank ups and big moves in the game. Very happy with that. Happy with the amount of stuff that happened. Happy with the events that came out. A couple of things that kind of irked me and annoyed me as well. But overall, I think because of all of that, taking that all into account, I'm settling at a B+. Let me know what parts of this month you liked. Maybe you love parts of this month more than I did. Maybe you're okay with these spend offers. Maybe you hate them even more than me. Put it in the comments below. I'd love to see what you think about what happened last month. As I said, guys, at various points in this video as well, I really appreciate you guys liking and subscribing. It lets me know that you're enjoying these videos. Keep an eye out on the channel. I got more stuff coming soon, and then eventually we'll also have the month review for July once all that stuff happens too. So if you want to see those videos, if you don't want to miss out, make sure you hit notifications on so you know when my videos come out as well. But that's going to do it, guys. That's all I got time for today. If you've got any questions, chuck it in the comments below. I'll be happy to talk about it there, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.